Hello beautiful people, welcome back to another video. I am Tanish Fortson, your favorite virtual embroidery coach. I have a really quick but fun embroidery project for you guys. I only have 1 hour to execute this entire process because I got to run this to the post office. This has to ship today and I got to pick my kids up from school. So this is a sequence project. I have been sitting on its design for well over a year. I did not want to sell it because it is sequins. However, I have gotten over that fear. I'm going to start selling some of my designs, and this was my most highly requested design to sell. I just didn't want you guys to get the needle breaks and go through everything that comes along with stitching sequins. But in this video, I am going to show you how to successfully stitch sequins. And if you are going to be interested in the file, that will be linked below. So we are going to do my infamous Go sequence design. It is a capital G and the O is an actual football. We are going to be putting that design on this Lane 7 navy hoodie. And again, here are the colors. It is a Chicago Bears theme. Now, I'm going to get this hooped. I'm going to be using 3-ounce cutaway stabilizer. We're not going to go into the software because I already have this design digitized. I have had this design for well over a year. I never listed it on my website or anything like that. Like I said, we only have 1 hour, so let's go. All right, let's cut this stabilizer. This is my 3-ounce stabilizer that I love oh so much. I get my large rolls like this from United Thread, and this is the 28 by 100 yard roll. And when I got it, it was huge. I mean, like almost couldn't carry it up the stairs, huge. Now I am using the biggest mighty hoop that I have, and it is this 13 by 15 mighty hoop. I have to be careful with this hoop because in my Melco software, since I use the simplified version, I don't use the digitizing version of the software. They don't have this hoop size in the software. So I have to trace and be very careful because one time I did hit the hoop, the inner hoop right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. My design, it hit the hoop and my machine shut off. Nothing was wrong with the machine. It didn't get damaged or anything, but it was kind of scary. So I have to put these, I think these are called brackets. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna put it at the very bottom. And then I have to hoop this upside down in order for it to fit in my machine. So I'm not one of the stitchers who stitches upside down. So stitching something upside down is foreign to me. I don't really like it because it's not something that I do often. Lane 7 heavyweight hoodie. I love the Lane 7 heavyweight hoodies. They are a bit oversized though, so you do need to inform your customers. It was a lot of issues with the sizing, and I have put in the listing that these do tend to run big. However, customers, they want the oversized look, but they don't realize that the heavyweight hoodies from Lane 7 are already oversized. So you don't need to order up like typically most people do. You need to order your normal size. So this is kind of tricky because we have this pocket right here, and then we have some of this pocket will be like inside the actual hoop since this is so big. And I don't want to mess this up because it has to go out today and this is my only size medium. Oh no, I gotta hoop it upside down. And I hate when I'm rushing on an order because that's when you typically mess up. I like to be relaxed and calm and just sort of flow through my orders and take my time. Rushing leads to mistakes, so I'm about to take a breath and slow it down. All right, check the seams, everything looks straight. Okay. I will see you guys at the machine. Here is my design. I already have it turned the right way. Now we just need to put the correct thread colors on. So I set the brown for cone number 6. Here's the brown that I'm using. Here is the orange that I'm using. I set the orange for cone number 15. I am working from panic mode and I hate working like this. So as soon as I get this thread on, I am going to take a breath and slow down and chill out, because when you're not relaxed when you're doing this, you will make mistakes. All right, cone number 15, let's pull this through, close that. Cone number 6, pull this through, close that. I need to oil my needle bars, but that can wait. I'm just gonna oil my bobbin area. And I am pretty much out of this spray. I'm just holding on, but my shipment It's supposed to come sometime tomorrow. I got this new big thing of oil. Woo, too much came out. So with a bigger thing of oil, I'm not used to it, so I squirted way too much. But I kind of dabbed some away with my finger. All right, go Bears. So I have my Melco software set at an 11 for sweatshirts. So that's what the active feed is set to, 11. And right now I have it at 1,000 stitches per minute, but as soon as the sequence starts stitching, I'm gonna put it at about 850 stitches per minute. But I don't know, it really depends on the type of sequence. That has a lot to do with it as well, and if it's extremely dense. So mine is pretty dense, but I can still get away with 850 stitches per minute. So let's get this. Oh man, you guys, I was stitching some left chest logo things. I remember when I first got my machine, these little, I don't know what they're called, but these are the brackets that for your hoop sizes, your different hoops. But I used to like strong arm them and I would always break them. You got to be very gentle with these. I say the first time you use your machine and you're changing them, you probably will break them. I broke mine the first couple times, so I ordered a whole bunch from Melco. Okay. Whew. All right, let's get this shirt in. I should have already had my heat press on. Make sure there's nothing caught back here. I'm gonna trace my design. Ooh, that's way too close. My machine needs some oil. When I take this off and I oil, I don't know what the part is in there, it won't make that like it was just doing. So the first thing is going to be the placement for the HTV, okay? So I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'm gonna kind of eyeball it, and then I'm gonna cut off a very large strip of HTV. My presser foot right now, remember it's gonna change. It's gonna be at 1, 2, 3. My presser foot is set to 3. I have 1 piece of 3-ounce cutaway, and I just have the sweatshirt. Those are my layers. So let's go. Oh, it would help if I would put the thread in. Right now, all of my needles are 7511. I have some titanium needles and I have some regular needles. They're all ballpoint. If I do get a needle break, I will switch out my needle to a 9014 titanium ballpoint needle. Okay, we're good, we're clear. So I already cut the brown piece for the actual football. So this can come out of the way. So this is messy. What I do is I just shake it like that to get all of the excess sequins off. So now we need to cut the orange because they want the G orange. All right, perfect timing. My heat press is ready. I cut a little bit too much, but that's okay. So now we need some Heat and Bond Light. This is the Heat and Bond that I use, and I usually get it by the box off of Amazon. And now we need this, this HTV. So this is from Aviva Wholesale. They are comparable to Caesar. I like this brand because it's a warehouse by my house. I just go to the warehouse and I pick up a roll, and it is way cheaper than some of the top brands. It's really comparable as far as shine. The shine, there is no difference. You cannot tell on the shine. However, the sticking capabilities, my little heat press, it does not do the deep pressure. So I believe if you have an industrial heat press, you will not have any problems getting this to adhere. But I'll show you guys how I get mine to adhere and make sure that it stays down instead of lifting. So 12 inches, I want it to be a little bit bigger than 12 inches. So I'm just gonna cut all the way down. And then also be careful taking it off. I I have ripped it before, just being too forceful. Especially if you're tearing off a bigger piece. Ugh. See how pretty that is? Okay, back at the machine. Whoops. I have my glitter HTV. This is the white confetti color. I need to hit it with some 505 spray, just lightly, so that there will be no shifting. I can't even get it in this box, it's so big. I have this quilting spray, but this one's a bit tacky. So I'm gonna grab my 505. This is my favorite one, the 505. All right. So what I don't like, I don't use this 13 by 15 that often, but when you hoop something, it needs to be taut, you know, it needs to be stable. Whenever I take my fingers and kind of gently push in the middle, it's a little bit too much give for me. And it's not the way that I'm hooping. I just think that it's the hoop itself. It's just, it has such a large surface area until it's nearly impossible to hoop it at that correct pressure that it needs to be. I don't know, it could just be me in the way that I'm hooping. I am hooping upside down and doing all this other stuff that I usually don't do. But yeah, just my opinion, I really don't use this big one that much. I've used it a handful of times. All right. Where's my sticks? Okay, so now we are going to take this HTV off and we are going to press it while it is on the hoop. So I did do a 2mm double run stitch. So we are able to pull the HTV off. We're not going to cut it. So I am just going to gently tear the HTV off. This is a me thing. You guys definitely don't have to do it that way, to do it how I'm doing it. But I do like to press it before I take it back to the machine. Because it's going to do a 9-pass bean stitch. So this isn't double applique, it's a bean stitch. And then the stitches that cover the sequence will be satin stitches. So it is a double applique, but it's not a double satin stitch applique. All right, let's take this over to my heat press. Okay, this is my little secondary pressing station. I'm using a Cricut and I'm just gonna apply some pressure. Need to do this for about 20 seconds. So now I'm just gonna take my weights and just kind of make sure it's adhered. So I'm just applying additional pressure. Okay, we should be good. Let's go back over to the machine. Okay, so now the bean stitch is going to go around the go. If you guys look, the tack down stitch for the orange sequence is ready. It has already gave me the placement. So now this is a tack down. So I'm gonna remove the heat and bond light. I am going to just put this down. I'm gonna let the excess hang over. And I'm going to adjust my presser foot. So I'm gonna come around here to the other side. So it was at 3, so I'm gonna take it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna do 7 clicks. I'm gonna grab my little sticks to hold it in place. So this is where you're gonna stand over the machine. Oh, and I'm gonna slow down my stitches. So I'm just gonna put it to 700 stitches per minute. Actually, I'm gonna go 600 because the tack down stitch is, in my opinion, a little more dangerous than the actual satin stitch. Because when we do the satin stitches, we're gonna put a piece of solvay on top just to flatten out all of the sequins. And we can't flat the sequins with solvay for a tack down stitch. So this is the place where you're more likely to get the most needle breaks. So you can hear how it sounds different. It's just going slow. So also, for all of my tack down stitches for sequins, you need to do a double run stitch. You need to go around it twice, and that is because when you're cutting sequins, you're more likely to cut the stitches and your shirt. So you want to be able to lift the fabric and cut underneath and just monitor whether you're cutting sequins or shirt, because it's really hard to tell the difference because the sequence is so thick. So that is the reason why I do a double run stitch for the tack down stitch. So what I'm going to do right now is just trim along here, and then I'll do the final trim once the sequence is on for the football. So you see, as I'm pulling on the fabric, it's staying down. And usually with sequins, when you pull on it to tug it up, if you only have a single run, it's going to lift the stitches. And how do I know this? Because it's happened to me so many times. And sequins, they are just flying everywhere. I just need to get it off enough so that I can do the, so I can tack down the football. You want to get a close cut too. I'm just gonna take that off too. Ooh. All right. Oh my gosh, let me get a lint roller. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the placement stitch for the football. Make sure nothing is caught. I don't know if I'm gonna make my deadline. It's already, I got about a good 30 minutes. And it's gonna take 35 minutes for everything to stitch out. So pretty. All right, let's see. You always want to have a contrasting color when you're going against the sequence because you need to be able to see it. Now it's going around for that second run. All right, here are my tools of choice. But these are my all-time favorite. So I am taking the sequence and I'm bending it over so that I can see. So whenever the mighty hoop is right here, it's always kind of hard for me to do the top. This is actually an easier cut when it comes to sequins. If you notice, most sequin designs, they shouldn't be intricate to cut because that's just awful. You want the cut to be close. Be careful right in here. This is going to be beautiful. I really won't even have any time to get many pictures because this is gonna take about 35 minutes to stitch out. Okay, I think we're done. It looks wonderful, you guys. I really didn't even need any other tools. Be careful when you go like this. If you're using a bigger hoop, just knock it off. All right, let me just grab my lint brush, my lint roller. So now we are going to put a piece of solvay over this and let the machine do its thing. I may bump it up to, now I don't want to get cocky, but I may bump it up to 800 stitches per minute because I am in a rush. I don't think I have any solvy cut either. What is this? Oh, I think it's too little. It's too little. Yeah, it's too little. All right, I'm just gonna hit this with some double-sided sticky tape. I don't have time for no solvy to be moving, anything shifting. Okay, we are in panic mode, and it's my fault because she needs this by Friday, but I want to get it to her by Wednesday if I ship it off today. I'm gonna bump up her shipping to like 2-day shipping. Whatever the price is, I'll probably pay it. I got it at 750 stitches per minute. Let's see how this runs. I mean, it's like quicker for me to go slower and not have a needle break than to speed it up and get a needle break. So I'm gonna test my luck with 750 stitches per minute. My presser foot, I believe I did about 7 clicks. So now we wait 36 minutes. So I'm actually gonna take it down because it's doing the laces in the football. So I'm gonna take it to 700. Now I might can get away with 800 or 850 on the actual satin stitch that goes around the outline part, but I'm gonna chill out for these laces. All right, the laces are almost done. Pretty good for going over thick sequins. So far, no needle breaks. I think I have 2 more of the laces, and then we're gonna start the satin stitch. I'm pretty sure I ran out of bobbin. So let's change the bobbin. These stitches did not catch. So I'm gonna have to go back quite a bit. My sensor did not catch that I ran out of bobbin. So I ran out of bobbin right about here. So that was a lot of stitches that were not detected. Probably have something to do with the sequins. All right, how am I gonna change this through the hood? I can't see nothing, but it's in there because I heard a click. All right, everything is good, right? All right. All right, so we have 13 more minutes and it just switched over to the brown satin stitch. And then we have the letters Bears, and then we're done. We can zoom to the post office. My girls are home. The post office closes at 5. It is 4 something, so it's really tight. All right, so this has finished on the machine. I wanted to show you guys another take on the same design. Now, I have, like I said earlier, I have never ever sold this design because it is a little risky when it comes to trademarking. This was my sweatshirt and I do wear it quite frequently. And this hoodie is for a friend. That was one of the reasons why I never listed the actual design. However, I am listing the digitized file, which is the G in the football in replace of the O. So it's just going to say GO. And then there's going to be no secondary text on the digitized file that you guys can buy. You can put in your own secondary text. So for example, if you are making these types of shirts for a high school, you will put that high school team name. You can do embroidery along the sleeve. If it's for Little League, junior varsity, varsity, or whatever the case may be, the G in the football will be linked below for sale. You will just need to add your secondary text. Also, if you guys are interested in learning how to digitize for sequins, I do have a digitizing course. It is called Stitch by Stitch, and I have a whole entire lesson dedicated to learning how to digitize for such thick materials. We need to rush to the post office, so let's go ahead and get this cleaned up. All right, I have just turned on my heat press. All right, here goes my scissors. So we're just gonna cut any, whoops, jump stitches. Now usually the secondary text where it says bears, I usually make the satin stitch a little bit thicker than this, but I actually forgot this time around. Oh, this looks wonderful, you guys. Oh, so nice. All right, let's cut this stabilizer off, get this press folded, and I can leave. There's not much cleanup to do other than lint brushing, and I need to take some quick pictures in my photo box. This is more than perfect. All right, just waiting for the heat press at this point. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is the final result. I am about to bag it up and ship it off right now. If you did find this video helpful, I do post tutorial style like videos every Thursday. So go ahead and click the subscribe button if you guys are interested, or if you found this video helpful. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.